My writing is progressing slowly, but at least it's moving forward. I'm sure that's the case. The only problem is that I'm never absolutely certain that what I've written is any good. You should constantly write because your writing is always evolving and progressing. It's really important to start writing young. As a young man, I feel as if it's all about progressing. I may have had to mature a little faster than others, but no worries. I took it on full steam and led by example off the field. When human beings stop progressing at an endeavor, they stop enjoying it and move on to something else. Not golfers, masochists, all of them. We want to find ways to stimulate people, keep everyone motivated, to keep progressing and improving. I'd like people to know that you can head off kidney disease, maybe prevent a transplant or stop the disease from progressing after detection by doing a simple urine test in the doctor's office. In my case, symptoms began to appear when I was only 57. In fact, the doctors believe early-onset Alzheimer's has a strong genetic predictor, and that it may have been progressing for some years before I was diagnosed. I want to keep snowboarding as long as I'm still having fun and progressing my writing. I think I veered towards filmmaking because there's more of a sense of control in it. You're not waiting to be picked. That said, in film school I acted in probably 6,000 student films because no other filmmakers knew anyone who wanted to act. It was all a big beautiful snake eating its tail, progressing along the way. In some respects, progressing through life is like running a marathon. The number of known human fossils only increases slowly, but the manner of regarding and assessing them is capable of progressing rapidly, as indeed it does. In the absence of any absolutely sensational discovery in prehistory, there is an up-to-date and scientific manner of understanding man, which is solidly based on paleontology. I'm all about black folks working together and progressing together. In theory, people would pick progression every time over being idle. But if you look at us as a culture, as a people, you would say that if you get up at 5 o'clock in the morning, eat your breakfast, go to work, make money, pay your bills, you're progressing, when you're still doing what's comfortable. I'm so honored and excited to be working in the business at a time when it's truly progressing. It is evident that the church is always abandoning more the old traditional structures of European life and, therefore, is changing its appearance and living new forms in itself. It's clear most of all that the de-Christianization of Europe is progressing, that the Christian element is always vanishing more from the fabric of society. Do we want a multicultural society, following the model of the English-speaking world, where fundamental Islam is progressing and we see major religious claims, or do we want an independent nation, with people able to control their own destiny, or do we accept to be a region managed by the technocrats of the European Union? I've learned to never take anything for granted and that people are all works in progress. Some people are just actively working on progressing, and some aren't. Not everyone gets the Sunday scaries or dreads going to work every day, and you shouldn't either. If you wake up most days with anxiety over what the day holds or find yourself checking out at work to avoid progressing on tough projects, it may be time to reevaluate your situation. Top European clubs are always progressing with what they can do off the field. Training is getting more scientific, and we are constantly getting more educated on nutrition. I just like the lineage and the heritage and the fact that British dance music is still progressing. I'm from London, I love London, and I wouldn't know how else to show that love in musical terms. There's something about British stuff that's a bit faster, a bit harder hitting, just tough. People want to know on an ongoing basis, am I doing right? Am I moving in the right direction? Do you think I'm progressing? Nobody's going to wait for an annual cycle to get that feedback. I'm constantly progressing. My style is changing every day. I know for a fact that a lot of actors are desperate and unhappy if their careers are not progressing at what they think is the correct rate. They just go crazy if they're not working. I don't feel I'd be that way. You can always get a few people together and put on a play. Maybe not in New York or LA, but in a lot of other towns, you can. We are either progressing or retrograding all the while. There is no such thing as remaining stationary in this life. I was always progressing and pushing my career forward. Technology keeps progressing. Young people follow the curve. But as they get older, they get inertia, and they start deviating from that curve. All the time our union was progressing very nicely. There were lectures to make us understand what trades unionism is and our real position in the labor movement. If there's anything I'm proud of in my career, it's that I've been able to hang in there and keep progressing over the years. Mankind is getting smarter every day. Actually, it only seems so. At least we are making progress. We're progressing, to be sure, ever more deeply into the forest. One thing that I am becoming to learn is that you've got to have patience and wait your turn in this game. I feel like I am progressing as an artist, as a writer and as a performer, and I know that there will be that one moment that will change everything. I feel like my place in this industry is still progressing. Famously, there's not really anywhere to go after nihilism. It's not progressing toward anything, it's a statement of outrage, however brilliant. We are putting a lot of investments behind building customer loyalty. We need to make sure we keep investing in the right tech that will help customers. If we keep doing that well, we will keep progressing. That's how people get better. Keep progressing, keep competing, and good things will happen. There is no doubt I'm learning new things and progressing with David Moyes. The sessions we have on the training ground are fantastic, and I'm learning a lot from them every day. My films have been progressing towards a certain kind of minimalism, even though it was never intended. Elements which can be eliminated have been eliminated. If your goal is to lose 10 pounds, you may wake up each day with failure in mind because the goal is hard to reach, and you are progressing only by small amounts. It takes up all your willpower. I recommend that instead of a goal, you have a system. Software substitution, whether it's for drivers or waiters or nurses, it's progressing. Technology over time will reduce demand for jobs, particularly at the lower end of skill set. I'm a stickler for structure, so I tend to make sure I'm hitting certain points in the script and that I'm progressing and moving things along. You know, are the characters keeping the plot moving along? And are they true, and do I know their motivations? I began as a naturalistic painter. Very quickly I felt the urgent need for a more concise form of expression and an economy of means. I never stopped progressing toward abstraction. Part of progressing in acting is turning down work, and that's hard. It's very, very hard to do. And I think you have to do that so as not to undermine your own sense of value. I knew what my times were and how my practices were progressing and how close I was to the goals I had set for the year. I swam hard. I always swam hard. If I didn't, I knew I would pay for it either the next day or the next meet. I think dementia is the major healthcare threat to our economy and our security. It's a ticking time bomb. We have a whole generation of baby boomers that are going to age, many progressing to get Alzheimer's, which disproportionately affects women and minorities. WrestleMania is an experience. It's an overall ride, its ups and its downs and its curves and its music, its presentation and its emotion, and it's paying tribute to the past and progressing the product into the future. It's career-defining moments for people who live for career-defining moments. I'm excited to be part of a movement that's progressing country music. There's always gonna be people saying, it ain't country anymore, but I don't get into that whole deal. Although my values and my morals are old school, you have to kind of key into the landscape of social media and how the world is progressing. I'd be a fool to sit there and go, yeah, let's use the telephone to telemarket myself. Social media is something that I definitely have to tap into, to another demographic. I want to keep on progressing. I definitely think acting is a long process to be one of the greats like Morgan Freeman or Jack Nicholson. Africa is progressing, but maybe not in the way you think it is. Even if the overall picture looks good, we must all remain vigilant and not get complacent. I've always looked at 2016, but 2020 is realistic for me. I'll be 23 in 2016, but if I keep on progressing, hopefully 2016 will be a medal chance as well for me. What we are doing in fact is recovering and progressing and sustaining the recovery of our democracy. Visit our website for more quotes, quoting.com.